Hello everyone, Mimir here. So one day I woke up and started selling the overnight fish as per usual. The imperial fish was maxed out, so I did a channel swap and managed to sell most of my fishes. And because I had to go out soon that day, I didn't really want to wait for another 15 minutes just to swap the channel again. So I just sold the rest of the fish to the normal trader instead. No biggies. And then for whatever reason, I decided to check out what my trading level was. To my surprise, I was at Artisan 1. Bear in mind that I've never done any leveling for trading, so this is just from all the fish trades that I've done on this character throughout the past 3 years or so. I didn't really think much and just left the house straight away, but something hits me when I was on my car. It was a bug splash on my windshield. It was raw sea desert fishing. I remember that imperial fishing is actually the best way to AFK fish unless you're doing Master 2 desert trades. I've always heard that it's many times better than imperial fishing, but 1, I did not have any character that is Master 2 trading, and 2, it seems like a lot of work per day you have to do just to make it work. Now that I have Artisan trading character and I do have a bunch of trash crates that I abandoned in the Trent storage a while ago, I should be able to hit Master 2 quite easily. Plus I've been doing bartering, so I'm not so against doing ocean related content anymore. And what's special about raw sea fishing is that the time of you getting a bite is significantly shorter compared to other fishing spots, which means you're gonna get more fish and relic shots per night. In fact, you get roughly double the number of fish and relics compared to, let's say, my usual Ji-eun fishing spot for example. And also you do have a very low chance to get a prize fish that is worth over 1 million silver. So if you open up the map and check out Port de Feria, this is probably the closest town if you want to enter the raw sea. But you do still want to get a decent inferior sailboat, or even an inferior cock would be fine if you don't mind making them yourself, because it will still take you a good 10 to 20 minutes just to get there if you decide to use a fishing boat or anything worse than a fishing boat. So here I am fishing at this part of the raw sea, and this is the result from that night with the desert buff. As you can see here, a total of 98 fish was sold. The distance bonus is at 114%, and around 23 million silver was gained from that. As a comparison, a night of fishing in Ji-eun usually gives me around 6 million worth of fish per night. And if you consider the price of the new imperial fishing seals, each seal roughly works out to be around 90k each, and you get around 50 to 60 fishes a night at Ji-eun. Since only the yellow grade fish gives you seals, that means you'll probably get around 15 to 20 seals per night, which would be around 1.5 million from the seals. So in total you get around 8 million worth of fish per night at Ji-eun. And that means raw sea fishing is around 3 times better than city fishing. End of story. No, not end of story yet. Look at the video timeline, it's not even halfway. That would be stupid if I just stopped testing on ocean fishing here. And I would probably just chuck this on one of the progression of struggle episode instead, judging on the length of it. Check the series out by the way if you haven't. So after I was done testing out the method, I looked at the map and had another idea. You see, the raw sea region is very big. Here's a map that roughly outlines the size of the raw sea region. It's huge, it's long, just like my dick. So I was fishing over here for the test. Valencia is all the way over here. So that means to do raw sea fishing every day, I'll have to travel a very long distance. The easiest way to do this would be to wait an hour and transport my character to Alta Nova, then take the air balloon to Valencia. And then I have to travel to get the desert buff, sell the fish, and take the balloon back to Alta Nova, and then transport back to Port de Feria. And that sucks if I have to do that on a daily basis, so I'd rather keep doing Ji-eun fishing if that's the case. However, if I fish right over here at this part of the raw sea instead, I just have to take the boat straight to Valencia, sell the fish, and sail back to my spot. That's gonna save a lot of trouble, especially on those days where you have to go out and do real life stuff like a normal human being. But there is just one question. Does the game count the entire Ross Sea region as one node, so that the distance bonus is still the same as if I was fishing at my original part of the Ross Sea? Well, it turns out that no, the distance bonus is different, and I get 56% instead of 114% if I fish here. But I got 19 million from selling all the fishes from that run. I sold a total of 98 fishes, which is exactly the same number of fish as the previous test. And there is only a 3 to 4 million difference in comparison. If I can save a significant amount of time and effort and just earn a little bit less as the cost, I'm gonna take the offer. So now I thought I found a new best AFK fishing strategy with a minimum amount of work required. And it's time to put everything together and pump out a video. But about halfway into making this video, I all of a sudden thought of a potentially better way to do my AFK fishing, and that is Imperial fishing on Ross Sea. Here's my logic. If I get twice the number of fish compared to Ji-eun fishing here, and I get 10 million worth of fish if I include the value of seals in Ji-eun, that means I'm gonna get around 20 million worth of fish if I do Imperial fish on Ross Sea, which would be almost equivalent to a desert trade worth of silver per night, without actually doing the desert trade. Me big brain, huge brain. So I went ahead and did the testing, which delayed the upload time for a few days, and this is the result. So yeah, I got a total of 24 million silver, and this is not counting the value of the seals. Why did it turn out to be better than the desert buff? Well, I happened to catch one of those prize fish that is worth over $1 million. In fact, this one is worth 5 million. After some bargaining and trade mastery, blah blah, I sold it to the closest trade merchant that I can find, and it was sold for 10 million there. But I know this is an outlier because you don't get this every day, so 14 million would be a more realistic representation of what you are gonna get by doing Ross Sea Imperial trading. Now compare this to Ji-eun fishing, it's almost double, and the amount of relics you get is also drastically increased as well. Therefore, this Ross Sea Imperial fishing would be the best AFK fishing method in the game in my opinion. By the way, I did some math and it turns out that if I were to do a desert run with this bunch of fish, I'll get around 35 million silver or more. This sounds good and all, but there is just one tiny problem. Yep, Black Desert is an open world PvP game, which means anyone can just kill you if you're not in the safe zone. And Ross Sea is definitely not in a safe zone, so if you do this every day, sooner or later, you're going to come across an enemy guild or even just some random dude that will decide it's a good idea to kill AFK fishers. During the summer fishing event, many incidents similar to this happened already, so yes, it will happen. However, I do think that if you are in a small guild that does not really have an enemy guild, or you just simply don't have a guild, I think it's still worth your time to come over here, since it's not that populated yet. Otherwise, you should use a character that is under level 50 to fish here, because you cannot be a PvP target when you're under level 50. Just make sure you tick the box, do not board other adventurers' ship. Anyways, make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more random content I make. Hopefully you enjoyed the ride, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.